All right, we're going to dig in a little bit deeper on superheat in lecture 7 here. So what we've got here is a extreme close-up of a thermal expansion valve or expansion device and the evaporator. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a different look. And again, if you're a general service technician working on a lot of different systems, this may be a drawing or something that you would find in the owner's manual of that machine, right? So it looks different than what you're used to, and that's just the way it is in the field here, right? So this is going to be the outlet of the expansion valve. So you'll notice we have our high pressure liquid coming in. It's going through the expansion device here, and as it's coming out, it's going to be liquid, right? And you can see this isn't the greatest quality here of drawing. We're working on getting some better ones here, but this is all going to be liquid here. And this particular drawing is an example of what they call a starved evaporator, because you'll notice that right around this point right here, we've completely transferred from a liquid state to a gas state. So this is exactly what it says. It's a starved evaporator. We're not getting we're not putting enough refrigerant in here. So anyway, let's look at what's happening here. So again, the refrigerant goes in here as a low pressure liquid. As it proceeds through this evaporator, it's absorbing heat. And in a healthy system, usually anywhere between here and here, the last 1/3, 1/4 of the evaporator, you're going to have a full transition from the low pressure liquid to a low pressure gas. All right, and then as that gas continues to proceed through the evaporator, it is going to be all gas, and it's absorbing additional heat. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go into the actual measurement. How do you get your superheat? How do you calculate it? And as I touched on before, if you're still a little bit foggy on the state of refrigerant, the refrigeration cycle, why don't you go back and have a look at that again, because you're going to really need to understand what we've covered in the prior lectures to get into this next stage. All right. Lastly, before we move on, I'm looking at possibly offering some more in-depth classes on thermal expansion valves. This is a really key component, very popular in most refrigeration systems. There's some other components I'd like to cover, so leave some comments in on my within Udemy to let me know if you're interested in that, and then I'll go ahead and make plans to do some additional classes on expansion valves and other types of refrigeration devices.